Yeah.
Okay, folks, we are on 5.2 section. This is the homework that we started, and we did this last Monday. So before Thanksgiving break, last Monday we did these together. So if you do not have those done, you're behind. You got to do those. And then today we're adding these problems. Okay, we're gonna do some of them together, possibly. And we'll go through some examples. The only thing that we don't know how to do today is the sum of cubes and difference of cubes. So let's just backtrack a little bit. When we have different types of factoring methods. So do you see like this group right here? Then we have 2 groups, then we have 3 terms, and we have 4 terms, right? You see how this table is separated out? This is like a summary of everything, okay? And we wrote some examples down. So greatest common factor, we can do that with any number of terms. Then when we have 2 terms, we have a difference of squares, okay, which we know how to do. And then we have sum and difference of cubes, which we don't know how to do yet. We will. I'll show you an example. It's pretty easy, okay? Then we have for 3 terms, we have perfect square trinomials, which are just fancy, simple trinomials. And then we have complex trinomials, and then we have factor by grouping when it has 4 or more terms, okay? So we have all of those things, all right? Let's talk through some sum of 2 cubes and difference of 2 cubes. It's kind of like looking for a difference of squares. So here's an example of a sum of 2 cubes. Let's say I have x cubed minus, let's say plus 8. We'll do a sum of 2 cubes first. So write this right above where it says sum of 2 cubes. Here's an example of a sum of 2 cubes, okay? The 2 things we're looking for. First thing is a sum. Is this a sum?
Yes.
How do I know it's a sum?
Positive.
Because it's positive, okay? Then I'm looking for 2 things that are cubed. So is x cubed something that's cubed?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What would like the cubic root of x cubed be?
X.
Just x, right? X to the first power, okay? Is 8 the cubic root, or like, can you take the cubic root of 8?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
What times itself 3 times will give you 8?
Well,
2.
weird number.
2. 2 to the third power is what 8 is, right? So these are 2 things that are cubed. X cubed is x cubed. 2 cubed is 8. And I have a sum or a plus in between them, right? Do we see how that works? Cube, that's a sum of 2 cubes, right? Okay, so here's how this breaks down. It just breaks down into 2 pieces, right? So a cubed plus b cubed. What's your a value in this case? X. What's your b value in this case?
Y.
2, right? A is x, b is 2. You see how this works? When you're doing a sum of 2 cubes, you do a plus b. So this would look like x plus 2. You see what a plus b is? If a is x and b is 2, those are my 2 pieces that are cubed, okay? Then what will a squared look like?
X squared.
X squared minus a times b,
2x.
which would be x times 2 or 2x. And then b squared is
4.
4, right? B is 2, so this is how you break down the sum of 2 cubes. That's it. Okay, it's just putting those in the correct spot. Your A is your first piece, your B is your second piece, and then you put them in, and that's how you factor them down, okay? Now let's look at the difference between a sum of 2 cubes and a difference of 2 cubes. The formulas are very, very similar to each other, right? So sum of 2 cubes, we start with A plus B. Difference of 2 cubes, we start with A minus B, right? But then what changes over here?
Ooh, it flops.
The minus becomes a plus, right? So here it starts with a plus, and then it's a minus. Here it's a minus, and then it's a plus. Do you see how that works? Okay, so the formulas are very similar. I'm not going to expect you to memorize the sum of cubes and difference of cubes, right? You will have this on a note card for a test, okay? So there is how that works, all right? So let's do a difference of cubes. Let's do something like, let's do this, we'll do something a little bit harder. Can we do it a little bit harder? Let's do 27x cubed minus, let's do y cubed. Let's just do 27x cubed minus y cubed. Okay, can we handle this?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, 27x cubed minus y cubed. This is a difference of 2 cubes. How do I know it's a difference? Because you're subtracting. Okay, now I look at 27x cubed. Can you take the cubic root of 27?
Yeah.
And it is
3x.
3, and the cubic root of x cubed is x. So 3x is what that piece breaks down to, right? Carson, are you watching? You better watch. What about the cubic root of y to the third power?
Y.
He will just become y. So what's a in this case?
3x.
3x and b is
Y.
y. Okay, so let's just put them in the pieces. 3x is a and b is y. 3x is a, 3x is a, b is y, b is y. Boo. So now we got kind of a mess. So we have 3x minus y is what my first chunk is. What do you get if you take 3x and square it? 3x squared means 3x times 3x.
9x?
9x squared. Does that make sense? Okay. Then what happens if you take 3x times y? 3xy plus, what's this become?
Y squared.
Just y squared. That is how you break them down. That's it. That is a difference of cubes. Kind of like a sum of cubes, right? You just find your A parts, you find your B parts, and then you break them down, right? Okay? All right, so let's go through some of these. Let's figure out this guy right here. Factor each polynomial. If the polynomial cannot be factored, write prime. Okay, first of all, can I take anything out of 8x cubed and 125y to the 12th? I don't think 8 goes into 125 though.
Well, you can take the exponent.
No, because they're different exponents. One's an x and one's a y, right? You can't take an x out because that one doesn't have an x.
You can't. Prime.
5y2, 5 doesn't go into 8,
Oh, I thought you were talking about.
right?
Can you take out a 2?
I don't think there's anything you can do.
You can't take out a 4.
So I'm looking for either this is a difference of squares, it's a difference of cubes, or it's a sum of cubes. Okay, it's not a difference because it's not minus, right? So let's look and see if it's a sum of cubes. Sum is plus, right? Can I take the cubic root of 8x cubed?
Yes.
What's the cubic root of 8? 2, and the cubic root of x cubed is x, right? So 2x would be like your A part, right? A would be 2x. That's what he breaks down into. Okay, let's do the cubic root of 125. What times itself 3 times will give you
5.
125? 5 times 5 is 25 times another 5 is 125. So that's 5. What's the cubic root of y to the 12th power? Y to the 4th power. Okay? Do you see how that works? So A is what? 2x. B is 5y to the 4th. Okay, so here's the formula. I'm going to write it down. We have A plus B. A squared minus AB plus B squared. This is how the formula breaks down. Okay? So if I'm doing A plus B, A is 2x. I have 2x plus B is 5y to the 4th. Okay? Now I'm going to put A in this spot. 2x squared. But what is 2x squared? 4x squared, right? Okay? Minus A times B. A is 2x. And B is 5y to the 4th. So what do you get when you take 2x times 5y to the 4th? 10xy to the 4th. Okay? B squared would be 5y to the 4th squared. Ugh. What does it mean when you square something? You take it times itself. What's 5y to the 4th times 5y to the 4th? 25y to the 8th. 8th. It's 16 if you would have this. That's 16. This is 8. Because you add them. Okay? All right? Final answer? Done. Boop. There he is. Okay? Do you see how that works? Not too bad? Okay? That is a sum of cubes. Okay, this one is a what? Difference of cubes, except, can we take something else?
I got a 2x.
Okay, there's 5 x's here and 2 x's here. Can I take 2 of them out?
I got a 2x.
Yeah, let's take out a 2x squared, right? Okay, if I take 2x out of 54, what's 2 out of 54? 27. X to the 3rd. 27x to the 3rd because I took 2 out. Minus, what's 128 divided by 2 if I take a 2 out? 64. The x's are gone, but now I have y to the 3rd. Okay, so let's break this one down. This guy is a what? Difference of cubes, right? Difference of cubes. So don't forget about this 2x here. He's just going to chill. But for right now, we're going to do just this guy. I'm going to get rid of this junk because I don't like it. Okay? Actually, I'm going to white it out. Can I white it out? blah, 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 blah. I know you can't, but you can slide him over to the side. Okay, so let's figure out what our A part and our B part is, and then we're golden, okay? So we just have to take the cubic root. What's the cubic root of 27x cubed?
3x.
3x. What's the cubic root of 64y to the third?
4.
4
Y.
y, right? 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. So A is my 3x and B is my 4y, okay? The formula is A minus B, A squared, plus AB plus B squared. That's the formula for a difference of cubes, okay? So A is going to go in this spot. B is going to go in this spot. So I've got 3x minus 4y. Okay? A squared. This is 3x squared. What's 3x squared?
9x squared.
9x squared. Are we confused? Do I need to go slower?
No.
Okay. A is 3x. B is 4y. That is plus 12xy. Okay. And then 4y goes here. What's 4y squared? 16y squared. Done?
Yep.
Almost.
What questions should be the 2x?
Don't forget about your 2x squared. He needs to be on the front. Aha! There he is. Okay? So there he's broken down. Got it? Happy with that? Okay? All right, let's see what else we got. We're going to skip example 2 because I don't want to do it. Combine cubes and squares. I don't know.
Can't we just do like one more example and be done?
Yeah. I'm trying to see what example I want. Oh, right here.
I'm gonna go back to any of
What's
them.
quadratic form? Is it written on the back?
What is happening?
I don't know what quadratic form is.
Blah. I don't like that. Okay, we're going to go to
What's quadratic form?
solve equations in quadratic forms. I want a nice one. They don't give you a very nice one.
Make your own.
Well, I don't want that. I don't want that. Let's go to one of the homework problems. We'll do one together. Okay? So here's your example for the quadratic one, which is like 16. So 16 and 22 and 23 are this similar way, right? Okay?
Will there be 4 answers?
16, 22, and 23. There will possibly be 4 answers. So I like Colton's idea. He says it's x to the 4th power. Okay? We're just learning this in my trig class. Since the highest power is x to the 4th, the degree is 4, that means he can have at most 4 zeros, or 4 places he crosses. He can't have 5, he can't have 6, he can't have 7. He might have 3, right? If one of them is imaginary, right? Okay, so you could have eyes in there and stuff, right? But at most, the most number of times he can cross is 4, okay? So, this guy, though, looks like he is kind of in the format of x squared, or ax squared plus bx plus c. He's kind of like a simple trinomial, but he's x to the 4th instead, right? Okay, so we're going to pretend right now that this is x squared and that this is just as x, right? Okay, just pretend, okay? I need to multiply 2 numbers together to give me -8, but when I add them, give me 12.
Negative.
I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, I thought so. Look, I tried this
Poop,
one earlier.
that's not very nice. So now what do I do if it doesn't work?
Simplify.
What?
Quadratic formula.
Quadratic formula. We can do the quadratic formula. That's fine. Okay. Quadratic formula is -b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. There he is. Okay. And that's what x equals. That's what x equals. Okay. All right. So I want to fill the formula in. I have x equals -b. What will -b look like? -12, because that's your b value, plus minus square root of what's b squared going to look like? 12 squared, which is 144 minus 4 times a. What's a? 1. And c is -8. All over 2 times a and 2 times 1. Okay? It's not going to come out nicely. We're going to leave the answer here pretty soon. Okay? X equals -12 plus minus. Okay? -4 times 1 times -8. What is that?
Positive 32.
Plus 32. Okay? 144 plus 32.
17. Nope.
176. Does the square root of 176 come out nicely?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. 2 times 1 on the bottom is just 2. Okay?
I used
All right.
Desmos. Is
Now,
that okay?
here's the deal. Just wait. Okay? This is what x equals. But the problem is we were x to the 4th power and not just x.
So,
Take everything to the
square it.
So when so it's actually x squared equals that, right? Does that make sense? When it was x, if it's x squared here, then x equals. But if it's x to the 4th, then it's x squared equals that. Does that make sense? I want just x. How do I get just x?
Desmos.
No?
That's
Take the square root. So, final answer, and when we take the square root, we have to put
Plus minus.
plus minus the square root of negative 12 plus minus square root of 176 over 2. That is a big lots of stuff.
Why'd you give 12 and
Holy buckets. It's like a square root inside of a square root.
I got Desmos
It's,
on my side.
I am, no.
That's a lot.
Is it
Can
okay
we-
if
Is that gonna be
Desmos
our
for this?
only
'Cause
one
I-
of that?
No. I want you to do it this way.
Did you record?
It's inception.
Yep.
Can
Okay.
be the only one that we do of that?
Nope. Wait, 22?
The 22 and 23 come out by factoring.
Oh.
and that's our answer?
Okay? Should we talk through 22? Let's talk through
Wait,
22.
what's our homework?
Let's talk through. Let's talk through 22 real quick. You gotta do 22 and 23. Okay?
Is that the only one we have to do?
But this one comes out like differently. So I'll talk you through the first part of 22. Here's a simple trinomial.
I don't
Plus
know.
minus 12, right?
Multiply to get 15, add to get 6.
Multiply what? To get 5.
Or excuse me, multiply to add 5, add to get 6.
1 5.
1 and 5, so x plus 1, x plus 5, right?
But shouldn't it be like
But
x squared
it's not x plus 1 and x plus 5. It is x
squared?
squared plus 1 and x squared plus 5. Then what do you do with those two pieces?
So the square equals negative 1.
I set them equal to 0. So x squared plus 1 equals 0. Solve that thing.
Negative 1.
X squared plus 5 equals 0. You got to add it over and take the square root. Okay? You take it from here.
Wait, is it imaginary?
It might be. It might be. Okay? So, list out what those answers will be. 23 is going to be a similar way. Okay? Simple trinomial. But
Yeah, they're
that's how you treat it as a quadratic when it's not a quadratic. It's still in the quadratic format, but you can treat it as a quadratic. You just have to put the squares on the end of it and solve. Okay? There is that. Anybody need the homework assignment? Problems?
Yes.
Yes? Here they are.
What's the square root of negative 1?
It's 1.
What is the square root of negative 1?
Technically 1.
I.
I.
Plus minus 1i. Right?
Oh,
Plus minus 1i. Okay? There they are. There's the homework problems.
Okay, so
Okay?
2, 5.
Yes, so there will be no longer a square root.
So
If it was 1, right? The square root of 1? Square root of negative 1 would just be I. Yeah. What?
square root 22 is I, right?
28, 30.
Plus and minus.
Mm.
And then you gotta do the 5 also. Okay? Alright, goodbye people watching this.